Hello and welcome to another video on my cooking experiment. I challenged myself to test a couple of interesting Halloween recipes: strawberry chocolate ghosts, bowls made of chocolate, and pepper mummies stuffed with cheese. You'll find the original recipes in the description below this video. And if you want to find out what cooking expectations look like versus reality, then keep on watching this video. It's been forever and ever that I wanted to try fruits dipped in chocolate. So finally the time has come. And guess what? I made a huge mistake before I even started cooking. I bought the wrong chocolate. I didn't pay attention that it said on the packaging that it's not just any white chocolate, but an extra soft chocolate with some filling in it. Hands down, this chocolate is delicious, but it's really challenging to work with. I melted my chocolate in the microwave for the first time in my life, and my second mistake was getting it too hot and too liquid. The consistency just wasn't right. That wasn't the end of the day, I just had to wait another 20 minutes for it to cool down and get thicker. And then the fun part that I was looking forward to for ages: dipping strawberries in my chocolate. That's something I really enjoyed. Who wouldn't? The biggest temptation was just not to eat it straight away. I actually ate one and it was oh so delicious. I think I'm getting addicted. And while white chocolate is still warm, I add the ice and mouth using tiny pieces of dark chocolate. Next, I couldn't find any orange chocolate, so I decided to make my own by basically adding some food coloring, and that was my following issue. Even though my powder food coloring was supposed to be great for chocolate as well, it just didn't work as expected. I had to use a huge amount of that to get the right shade, and I was really not happy with it. And later I found out that in case of chocolate, it's best to use oil-based food coloring. Next, to create my chocolate bowls, I'll be using balloons. Can you imagine? And I start from creating their bases. I simply spread some chocolate on a parchment paper. And finally, the moment that I've been waiting for forever and ever! I dip my balloons into the chocolate, just to find out that I don't have enough chocolate. Or perhaps my balloon is just too big. Luckily, I found a workaround for this issue by simply applying my chocolate with a spoon. I also use the outer surface of my spoon to texturize the surface of the chocolate. Now the small balloon was simply perfect. I didn't have to add any extra chocolate to it, it turns out perfectly smooth, and that's how I left it. I still had quite a lot of that orange chocolate left, so I decided to create another kind of strawberry creatures, resembling tiny pumpkins. Just as before, I start from dipping them in. To texturize their surface, I created a cone using some parchment paper, transferred the remaining chocolate into this cone, and created some vertical lines. To be honest, here I'm not really happy with the quality of my work, but as an excuse I can tell you that the camera was really blocking my way. I was in a super weird position, like miles away from my strawberries, and usually I need to stick my nose right into the object that I'm working on to be able to see what I'm actually doing. Luckily, I can always cheat by saying that Halloween creatures are supposed to look scary, and they're intentionally deformed, even though both you and me know that I could have done a much better job on them. Using the remaining orange chocolate, I glued some dark chocolate ice to my pumpkin strawberry creatures, even though later I thought that I already had some dark icing that I could have easily used for this purpose. But for now, pop the balloon! I just had to make sure that my chocolate was totally hard before doing that. Then, using some already made icing, I drew funny faces on my balls. And because I used that extra smooth chocolate, they were so hard to work with, they were literally melting in my hands. Normally, you shouldn't have this problem. Once the balls are ready, you can fill them with whatever you want. I think ice cream would be just ideal, but today I'm going to have some marshmallows and candies. And voila! Don't you think they look like a father and a son? By now my strawberry creatures are ready as well, and that's what they look like. Scary, right? For some reason their faces really make me smile. The following recipes that I'm going to test today are mummies made with jalapeno peppers, or perhaps any similar size peppers that you can find. Just make sure they're not too hot. I actually couldn't find all the ingredients mentioned in the original recipe, so I simply used whatever I could find. And to tell you the truth, they turned out delicious. You may already know the secret of jalapeno peppers. Personally, I didn't know it before I moved to France. And the secret is that some of them can be really, really hot. And since it's their seeds that make them that spicy, you want to remove every last seed from them. For the stuffing, I mixed some soft cheese with some grated cheese. I think here you could also improvise however you wish. And then I simply put my stuffing into the peppers. And then I grab my already made puff pastry and cut it into thin stripes. I only had to wrap these stripes around my peppers, leaving a small gap for the eyes. The following step was to spread some egg over the pastry, and I'm not sure I understood what was the purpose of this. Either to prevent the pastry from burning, or perhaps to prevent the pastry from rising. I baked my mummies till they changed the color, and here you can see the result. I couldn't find any already made eyes, so I decided to make my own using some black olives. I just had to spend some time playing with the bits of my olives to find the matching pairs. For my second set of mummies, I thought I would make the eyes differently, and here I've cut my olives into tiny squares. And you can tell that the eyes completely change the facial expression of the mummies. So which eyes do you prefer? Taste-wise, each of the snacks I cooked today turned out delicious. And even though visually they weren't perfect, my friends got really impressed. I think they never saw something like this in their entire life. So if your mission is to impress, just go ahead, test these recipes, and get back here to share your success story. Let me know which recipe tempts you the most, and share your results on Instagram with the hashtag LilysMoonFood. Bye!